coaching staff's responsibility to mold that all-time great athleticism and turn it into what you expect from a quarterback to make it in this league and be elite as a quarterback for 10, 15 years. They never did that to Cam because they took advantage, much like they did with Colin Kaepernick. He's 30 years old now. He hasn't developed those skills. We saw some of it.
Nothing for a quarterback.
Well, it is when you're talking about developing and getting out of habits.
Ding me in, Dave. Ding me in, Dave.
But here's the thing. We saw last year. I'll let you in just a second. We saw last year, Tony, was his best statistical year of what you would expect from even what I expect. You're talking 67% completions percentage, over 8 yards per attempt. He had all those things. And so what we saw last year, Tony, what you hadn't only saw and really hadn't ever saw, because even in his 2015 year, his completion percentage was 59%. Well, we're talking.
That was all Elway's was his entire career.
But different era. Right now, 60% in that era. Right. Yeah, 60% isn't even considered good right now. You have backup quarterbacks that are completing 64, 65%. That's what's kind of expected.
Jay,
now.
You know Cam's not even playing this weekend, right? We don't have to worry about him.
No, but they talk about him.
This is the life of a Panther fan, bro. This is all we talk about.
Tony,
he's like
I know,
favorite
but
person
Tony,
in the world.
He is capable of it under the right system. We saw it. That's why they need to get him healthy. I don't believe he's done it long enough to say that I believe he can still do it, but there's a sample as recent as last year where he had all those things that you're looking at. Not only statistically, but he did it. He was doing it. Now, the rest of it is all, to me, cannon fodder, man. Like, I look for certain things. I've seen improvement from him. I'm not a believer in it yet, but there's hope even at 30 because of the coaching staff that I think he has offensively now.
Tony, can I say something real quick?
Yeah, please.
So me and Jay have been at odds over this. I love Cam Newton as an athlete. I love him as a quarterback.
Stop saying as an athlete. Let's just
No. And I said as a quarterback. I do. I'm saying as both because that's the thing. In his 15th year, this is the point I'm going to make on top of this. So, I mean, that's the thing is a lot of people say, oh, he wasn't a quarterback. He threw 35 touchdowns that year, and he only threw 10 picks. I mean, that was one of his best statistical seasons. He won an MVP for it. So, I mean, I've battled with Jay on this all the time. So, I mean, it's not just you. I do it all the time with Jay. We battle all the time on a lot of players.
You can battle with me all you want, but my expectations for a quarterback, they don't change. And you know that because I battle. I have those same expectations when I evaluate Drew Brees,
that's your
Aaron Rodgers, and all those other things.
Let me tell you this.
Hold on, you had your say. I want to say something. All right. So one point I want to bring up. After the 15th season in the MVP, I thoroughly believe this is it's not a bad thing, but I feel like so Cam Newton did he win a state championship in high school?
He's won at every level. I think staff. He's won at every single level. He won junior college as well as NCAA.
Okay, so this is my theory. This is my theory is he's never been able to handle a loss as big as the Super Bowl. And he's always won at every other level he's been at. So to me, it's always been like, yeah, he went back to the playoffs the year after in 16, but you didn't see that Cam that was in 15. I feel like he has never been able but he's never been able to handle a loss as big as a Super Bowl loss, because he's won on every other level. He's never lost. That's my thing.
Response to that is that the team has not been able to handle that loss. I understand that, but I think this is that Cam is just he's a very, very important component. The Panthers live and die by him. but it's really just an oversimplification if we think about it as like one player or not. I mean,
I know there's a team. I got that, but I'm just talking about him as a mentally able player. Is what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, now that you're done trying to patsy him, now I know he wants to come at me because he was trying to get on. So go ahead now. Well, Tony, go. You got your.
I also feel Denver broke
now.
him too. Super Bowl and opening weekend the next season. Von Miller, I think, haunts his dreams.
See,
I really do.
And I don't agree with Dave's assessment on that, Cam. To me, it's more about his mechanics. But go ahead, Tony, because you've been waiting. I know you. Right. This is what drives
the referee's
you.
turned his back. Tony, go at it.
That's right. Ring the bell. My number one thing is this is what people who have had the biggest wealth of riches in the history of football get to say. Is like, I have expectations that are better than Tom Brady. Well, that's because you jerks have had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers back to back. So like, shut it when it comes to like, oh, we need this. Like, I need my quarterback. Look, there has not been, arguably, a quarterback who has done more with less than Cam Newton in the history of football. They have not he has not had an offensive line his entire time. Cam Newton has single-handedly willed the Panthers to success over the last nine years. But yes, can we say this? Can we point to ill mechanics at times? Yes. Right? Has that always been the largest part of his game? No, but I could name a bunch of backup quarterbacks that have fantastic mechanics. Right? Has pinpoint accuracy been his largest part of his game? No, not at all. What Cam has been is an explosive player who at any moment when you have him on the field can help you win a game. To the Rodgers. See, the thing is you guys have that and you got the pinpoint accuracy. So is he Aaron Rodgers? No. But Cam Newton he does so many different things for the team. And I would just say his leadership, his actual commitment to the game has always been underestimated. The narrative has been that he can't. Yes, is he emotional? Was he disappointed after the Super Bowl loss? Certainly. But the guy he's been successful at every part. He's run the ball. He's thrown the ball. Now the problem is Cam used to throw the deep ball better than anybody in the league, or as well as anybody in the league, I would say, early in his career. And so now, as he's starting to develop into a better quarterback, now the problem is he can't throw the ball physically, and we got to see that. Look, I would just say there's a slight recency bias in this, is that Cam has struggled with injury over the last couple of seasons, but he's still a fantastic player, and he's gotten better. He's better mentally. He's better I think and here, one other thing, I wanted to point this out, is that Drew Brees, if we look at Drew Brees, he played from 2001 to 2005 in San Diego. He didn't get better until he threw a 4,400 yards in 2006. It wasn't until 2008 that he started being the Drew Brees we know. I just think we
went to a different team.
Yeah.
I just don't even bring up Drew Brees on this show. I don't want to have to burn this freaking place down. I freaking hate that guy.
I forgot. Oh, well, but here, my point is this, is that it's unfair to evaluate Cam Newton as a quarterback by only looking at a partial part of his career. He's only 30 years old. Let's see a couple of years healthy. But right now the question is, can be healthy? That's it.
Well, here I'm going to jump right in here, though, about your Cam Newton and his health thing here, because I have a problem with that, because that goes what you're saying about Cam and not being healthy, right? That's because Cam's not a quarterback like I'm talking about. Because if he was, because his game is developed on being 6'5", 240, running the ball and having a rocket arm and having a scheme that guys doesn't require him to throw in tight windows on a down in and down out basis. If if he was a more developed quarterback at this point, there would be a chance he's playing. And do you know how I know? Because I watched the quarterback play on a tibial plateau fracture that ended 7 other NFL players' careers. He could not move, but he was able to play from the pocket and throw for over 4,300 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions.
Tackle last year? Who was your left? Tell me the left tackle's name that you've had for the last 7 years. He was one of the more.
Do you realize I have stats here? Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers, and Cam Newton are separated. Although he's in his 15th season, he only has started 3 more seasons than Cam Newton. He has been sacked and hit more than Cam Newton in his career, and was one of the most hit and sacked quarterbacks even after the injury last year, despite that left tackle, because he had a terrible left guard, and it was making the push come up the middle. That's how he got hurt. That's why he continued to have to throw the ball away, because of pressure on that offensive line. That offensive line has not always been good, regardless of what people have said. And as far as carrying a team, nobody's done more than less. 2016, there was an NFC Championship game played where 9 minutes into the first quarter, the entire rest of the game, Rodgers had guys that were on the street playing corner that had not played in half a season, and a defensive tackle playing right guard for him on offensive line. All right? And had they not fumbled twice inside the 30-yard line, that would have been a 21-21 game going into half. Players do more with less when they're a quarterback that can do it from the pocket.
Things I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I got to tell you this, is that you guys play in the NFC North. You got to see Mike Remmers play for the Minnesota Vikings for the last 4 years. You know you're licking your chops when you see Mike Remmers take the field for the Minnesota Vikings at right guard or left tackle, whatever he played. He stunk. But look, Cam Newton has guys that had Byron Bell as a left tackle. Howard
we had him
Clark
at right guard last year.
Byron Bell, he's horrendous. Actually, he's actually okay at the guard. He's actually not terrible at guard.
Oh,
he's terrible at guard. Trust me, he was terrible at guard.
He was horrible.
We played Byron Bell for 2 seasons at left tackle. All right, at left tackle. So here, and to say here, you told me that Aaron Rodgers did more with less, and then you reference how his defense sucked. Cam Newton took Jericho Cotchery, Brenton Burson, and Philly Brown. None of those assholes are still in the NFL to the damn Super Bowl in 2015.
47 players that played on that 2016 NFC Championship game, 47 players are no longer in the league or on a roster. 22 of them on the team last year are not on a roster currently right now.
Hey, fellas. Hey, guess what? Hey, guess what?
For an hour, and Cam ain't even playing.
Exactly. That's my point. Let's move on to the next.
Hey, that's because I told you I listened to your show, man. It was I knew this was going to be good banter with you because I seen how it was going on the show. You're good, Tony.
Tony, we love that you fire back, man. That's what the show's about.
Passion, I love it, dude.
ROI from every angle. That's what we're about.
This is beautiful, man.
Let's keep going. Man.
Okay. Next one. We heard another caller on your show and say that Andy Dalton was a good comparison for Kyle Allen. Do you believe that? I don't, because I don't think Andy Dalton's a good comparison at all.
I looked up the stats. And this dude did that. Yeah, the dude looked up the stats, basically, and then he compared the stats. Because I did the research here, Tony. This one was in for you because I wanted you to be able to fire the hell back and defend this. Because
load your cannons and take this out, Tony.
I knew exactly. I did exactly what this guy did. He went and pulled the stats up and seen that the career completion percentage was 4 points higher. The yards were the same, and then all this shit. Stop it. Like, Tony, you take this one. This question was a serve-up for you.
Newton. He compared Andy Dalton to Cam Newton, And he also said that Andy Dalton had more wins, which is true. Like, I don't know how that's even possible.
Andy Dalton hasn't won a playoff game, and he's been in forever.
The